Hello there and welcome to Black Jackal Gaming. We've just had the Dataslate balance update drops, which is the quarterly update, and we're going to go through the Space Marine points. So the Iron Storm detachment, which is one of the popular ones, took a big hit, and it will affect some of the index Space Marine chapters because the likes of the Black Templars were leaning into it quite a lot. The Eliminator shenanigans has had a bit of an increase, so it's a bit on the pricey side at the moment, but there's been a couple of interesting units that have dropped in points. And one of the drops is very surprising indeed. There's no rule changes, as apparently any rule changes are going to be coming in the July update. So taking a look at the point increases to begin with, we'll start on the negative. So the Eliminators went up in points. They've gone from 75 points to a massive 85 points. That's a 10-point increase, so they are starting to edge towards that expensive side. The shoot move shoot ability with the impulsors really caught up with them, and they're getting punished for this because it's not how the unit is really meant to operate. They're now at a price point where they're more expensive than the likes of intercessors and jump intercessors. Now, how much are they bringing into the table in comparison to those units that are bringing 5 models apiece as well? Then you've got the Storm Raven gunship, which was doing really well lately. This has taken a hit as well. It's gone up by 20 points. So it's now a whopping 260 points, which is very expensive. You probably won't see this around anymore. And then the Iron Storm Spearhead, which is the most popular and successful detachment at the moment, has had 2 of the enhancements go up. So the first being the Adept of the Omnissiah has gone up by 15 points to 35 points. That's quite an increase. And Master of the War Machine has gone up by 10 points to a massive 30 points. See, you've had a 25-point increase there just by taking that detachment. Over to the point decreases, which is what we really want to have a look at. So the first one up is the Brutalis Dreadnought. This has come down by 15 points to quite a reasonable 160 points. It's getting towards a nice price point now. It might play well into the Gladius and Stormlance detachments. You might start seeing it on the competitive scene because it actually brings a lot for 160 points. It has that melee capability with its Brutalis Fists, and as well as that, it does come packing with 2 multi-melters, so it's quite a nice model at the moment. Then we have the Assault Intercessors with jump packs. This is really strange as they're quite popular and they're really good where they live at the moment. They were 85 points, so they come down by 5 points to 80 points, and you're getting an awful lot for your money here because they've got the fast movement at 12 inches, they've got the deep strike ability, and they've got that really nice mortal wound ability on the charge. So when you've got the combination of them with the Jump Chaplain, who's got a mortal wound ability in combat, and then the grenade strat, it's making this combination even more juicier than it was previously. If you're not taking probably 2 5-man units of these, then you need to give them a serious look. You can actually even lean into bigger squads of them as well, just for how the amount of damage output and wounds and movement you're getting for those 80 points is very nice. Then we have the Incursors. They've gone down by 5 points to 80 points, so they're in quite an interesting range now. They do come with the scout 6 inches, so you got that pre-game move. And they have an ability that once they target something and hit it, the rest of your army then gets +1 to hit against it for the rest of that turn. At 80 points for 5 models, they're looking quite nice, and it's difficult to think, will they not make it onto the tabletop at the moment, because it does give you that extra bump for Oaths a moment if most of your units are going to be hitting on 2s and having that reroll built in of those 1s. You're almost guaranteed to get all your shots into your target. Then you've got the Hellblasters. They were already a borderline really good unit, probably not even borderline, they were just a good unit that were well priced, and you could really pair them up with Azrael with the Lieutenant and Apothecary, so you can have some lethal hits and sustained hits going on, or you could have models getting brought back. It also grants them an invulnerable save, so they're really tough to move. They've dropped by 10 points, they're down to 115 points for a 5 model unit, and you can of course for 230 points take the 10 of them. It's a really good unit. They've got the ability to hold on to an objective and continually pump out quite a high amount of firepower, and they've got a decent strength, having that variable strength and that high AP, the -3, can punch through most armor. Really good unit at the moment. For further point decreases, we do have the Tactical Squad. They're now being dropped by 20 points, which is a lot. They're down to 140 points, which is massive for them because we just weren't seeing them in the game. That's 14 points per model now, which is really cheap for a tactical marine. especially when you think you can bring them with a special weapon and a heavy weapon. You've also got the upgrade options for the sergeant, so you can give them maybe dual wielding lightning claws, or perhaps a plasma pistol and a thunder hammer. So you can add a lot to this unit for the price point. They can also split into 2 5-man units before the game starts as well, which is quite useful. Finally, we have the Vindicator tank. This has come down by 15 points to 160 points. I think the datasheet's quite fine. It's quite limited because it does just have that main weapon really, and then a bit of a storm bolter. The demolish cannon is quite good, and it's have the nice ability where even though it's plastic, it can still fire in engagement range, and it doesn't have that minus to hit, which is really nice. Does it compete with the gladiators, which are really efficiently priced at the moment? Probably not quite, but it's moving into that range where you will see it. You probably won't see 3 of them on the tabletop, but every couple of lists you might see 1 sneaking in. So what does this mean for Space Marines? Well, they were quite middling and they're getting propped up by the Ironstorm. They have a couple of weak detachments that are really struggling, and we won't see any rule changes until the next Dataslate, which is really in July, 3 months away. So they're going to stay relatively where they are at the moment. The Ironstorm was the strongest detachment, and the utility that you've lost from the enhancements going up, as well as a couple of the squads that were getting used going up in price, and they got hit in the last Dataslate as well. They are going to be much worse off than they were before. You were seeing them really being propped up by the likes of Black Templars, where they had the additional gladiators that they could take with the multi-melter. They've gone up in price as well. So you might see people start leaning away from Ironstorm or just going to different factions altogether. The eliminated Jankers being taken away, it's become probably a little bit too pricey to continue when you think you might have to have 2 of them in an impulsor, and you're getting towards quite an expensive part there for them, but the little output that they really do give you. The jump intercessors might replace the scouts because they had a price increase previously. They were already looking like a good comparison to them, and now that they've come down in price, that additional movement as well as that mortal wound ability is really nice, so you might see them on the tabletop a lot more than you did previously. The price drops for the range really are unlikely to see them move. I think a lot of the armies around Space Marines and above them didn't really get hit that hard, or had a lot of points drops, so they're going to stay really where they are, or they might get slightly worse. Nothing really stands out for them in the meta. Nothing's moved around them enough. They've not moved around internally enough. They are going to stay pretty much as they are, but do not fear. There will be another balanced update coming at a later date. So just keep hobbying, keep building, keep painting, play the game how you want to play, have some fun. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Consider supporting me by getting a membership or popping over to Patreon, where I do a lot of blogging and I post some memes. Enjoy these videos, take it easy, I'll see you next time.